All right, hello everyone on YouTube and on Facebook. This is Nancy Rebecca, and today I am going live to talk about the holographic mirrors and kind of their impact on ascension, plus following it up with a little meditation so that we can work with our own kind of holographic mirrors to reflect the maximum light of this time. So super exciting. Go ahead and pop on. Let me know how you're doing. We're just a couple of days away from the spring equinox. And so this topic is going to be kind of universal no matter what time of the year that you're listening. However, this is a very significant time. You've heard me talk about this. I think you're hearing everybody talk about it. Hello, Denise and Rebecca and Angela and Elaine and Heather and Yvonne. So I'm really curious about how you're feeling during this time because we're really moving, as you know, we're well into that movement of Pluto from Capricorn to Aquarius, and I'll be talking about that next Thursday. But yeah, there's a lot going on. So who's having headaches? Who's having a little bit of nausea? I'll say little bit of nausea that'll wave through, little bit of headaches that'll wave through. Feeling, I would definitely say deep fatigue. However, there's also this element of deep rest that's coming through as well. Let's see what else. Achy bones, joints, knees, hips, back. How about neck? How about dry eyes? So who's having ascension symptoms, and what ascension symptoms are you having? So yes, absolutely, Kathleen. As you said, you were feeling on top of things, and then it felt like yesterday everything just kind of blew open. I would say, yes, Denise, great. And Elaine, feeling emotional. Denise saying, ringing in the ears. What was the biggest thing that's kind of been flipping me out a little bit? And it's the time warpish thing. So I'll just say time warp. I came home the other day and I asked Yvonne, have I been gone a long time? She looks at me like I'm crazy. She goes, I don't know. And I'm like, well, do you remember when I left? Because it feels like I've only been gone 10 minutes. So I'd clearly been gone a couple of hours. That has happened to me a lot, where I felt as I knew I had accomplished something that would take an appropriate amount of time that couldn't have been done in 5 or 10 minutes. And so, yeah. And so someone else, a Facebook user, saying they're feeling all of the above. So today, so just for those of you who may not know me, I won't go into all of it, but you could read more about me on my website, intuitivemind.org. And what I will say is I am a clairvoyant, which means that I can see the spiritual world at the same time I can see the human world. I can see the energies and auras around people. So I've been doing this for 25 years and it's just a normal part of my being. But today we're going to be talking about holographic mirrors. So I think everybody's going to need an extra sip of whatever you're drinking. And you're going to have to really open up your mind to expansive imagination, because this is a concept that if you looked it up on the internet, which I did last night, I hadn't done that before. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're talking about holographic mirrors and quantum physics. I didn't know this. So when I was reading about it, I'm like, who could ever understand that? So today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. So yeah, deep fatigue, disoriented. Yeah, that's a big one too. Feeling quite disoriented, not knowing where you are, what time it is, what day it is. On Monday, I kept thinking it was Friday. So I totally get what you're saying. um, Optical kaleidoscope. Oh my gosh, you guys are really describing some have some really great descriptors this morning. So let me just tell you what Wikipedia, well, first of all, I saw that there is a holographic mirrors movie. So it's not the movie, you just bypass the movie. And Wikipedia, I thought, had the absolute best description of holographic mirrors. Because if you imagine mirrors stacked on mirrors, stacked on mirrors, that's kind of what we think of like a structure. But actually, a hologram, according to Wikipedia, is a photographic recording of a light field. A light field. So for those of you who are having eye stuff, who feel like the visuals are really wonky, are feeling, like that kaleidoscope of things, I've definitely been seeing more spirits, but more things out of the corner of my eye. The other day, I had my one little elderly dog. I let him out. I was in the kitchen, and then he was in the kitchen. And so then I thought, how did he get in the kitchen? And then the camera went off to say somebody's in the side yard. I looked and he's out in the yard again. Now I did talk to people in the house and they said, oh yeah, I let him in. And then somebody else said they let him out. But I'll tell you, it messed with my head big time. Oh my gosh, Denise, you can just go on. You could just do this talk today. Being triggered by relationships. Relationships are being triggered big time. So I'm telling people, do not file for divorce right now. Don't file for divorce. Like, give it a month. And Yvonne and I were just talking about this yesterday. I said, wow, so many people and students that we have are having loads of relationship stuff. Why is that happening? Because the old systems, the old patterns, these old holographic patterns and the way they've reflected the light between you and another person, that is changing. So you both will be reflecting light differently. So you have to get to know each other in this new frequency. And the bigger thing is you have to allow each other to grow in the ways that each other needs to grow. So the systems are changing. You all know what it's like when you are working and for a company and one of the bosses leaves and a new boss comes in, right? And then the new boss comes in and they start changing the rules. And then all the workers get really upset because everything's changing. They want that same system, even if it wasn't even a healthy environment to work in. It's like, or you can change the system, but you can't do it within the first 6 months that you're here. See, we have all these rules, but this is what's happening. The systems are being changing. But the bigger thing, and I'll talk more about this next week about relationships as well, is Capricorn is all about rules. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rules. And I'm going to call them beautiful rules because I have lived in third world countries where they say what they love about America is we have a lot of rules, and so people know the rules to live by. If you live in a country that doesn't have any rules, it's chaos. But what they said was, but with Capricorn has rules and structure. Aquarius is like the 60s, the hippies, the peace, love, and happiness and freedom for all. And everybody just gets to be who they are. And look, I was born under the sign of Aquarius, so I get that freedom. But they're also very future oriented, about visioning for the future, where Capricorn's all about, let's do, what do we need to do right now to fix this? So as your relationships are shifting to more freedom in the relationship, if you've got control or you've got a lot of structure in the relationship, it's changing, you got to let it go. You have to let it move to that sense of freedom. So anyway, there's a lot. However, I'm going to talk more about this for those of you who've signed up for the Spring Equinox. That will happen on Sunday. If you signed up for the VIP bonus, I'm going to be talking about that more on Saturday. That's included in the bonus. Okay, let me get back to this hologram. So a hologram is a photographic recording of a light field, a photograph recording of a light field. So I want to just keep saying that again and again and again. Your physical body is of the third dimensional realm. All right, open those brains because here we go. and can reflect a flat image of who you are. So a simple flat image is you standing in front of a mirror, looking at you, and you is looking back at you. All right, that's a simple 2D flat dimensional reflection of yourself. That is a mirror, okay? Then, however, you are a multidimensional being. You're not becoming a multidimensional being. You have always been a multidimensional being. Your higher self has full reign capacity to do it all. It's your human body that feels and thinks and wants you to believe that you are limited. And not because your body doesn't like you. It's just filled with old programming and old belief systems and old structures and old cultures and old religious programming and old past lives and lots of lessons. So when your spirit comes down in the body, you can forget how magnificent you are. And we hear this a lot in a lot of spiritual teachings. But what I know with working with students for 25 years, I can tell you that till the cows come home. Anybody can tell you that. You are the only one that can clear that structure on the inside so that that reflection of how beautiful you are can actually come through. So that's what we're really talking about today. So you're a multidimensional spiritual being living in a human body. So think of a folding table. So the legs are folded up and you can stack them quite nicely. So you pull this out, that's kind of a two-dimensional form. You know, if you kind of turn that folding table, it's got one side, it's got another side. That's a two-dimensional flat type image. If you pull each leg out, so let's just say that you're adding more of a dimensional perspective, then you've got depth to the table. You've got this flat surface on the top of the table. You have the legs on the table. You push down the table. Those additional legs, those additional dimensions that you have access to actually add more stability to your life. But how do you get there, right? How do you get to that place? So as your consciousness expands, which it is, everybody's consciousness is expanding. You've heard me say this before. No matter who you are, what path you've chosen in life, whether it's a harsh path or an easy path, whether it's a path where you have hurt or harmed other people or other people have hurt or harmed you, the spiritual light is the same. Okay, the higher self soul is the same for everyone. What changes how you reflect your light is what you have filled in the container. So if it's hurtful and harmful, that's what's going to be expressed. And if it's light and bright and loving, that's what's going to be expressed. But we all have all sides of that because we are multi-dimensional beings. So you will now have access to deeper aspects of the holographic universe within inside of you and outside of you. So this is happening quite rapidly. So I had this experience once where I was looking in a mirror, and some of you may have this type of mirror in your house. So it's flat when you're looking at it, and it's got like two medicine cabinets on each side. So you can fold those doors in, get something out of the medicine cabinet, on each side. Well, if you move these kind of side mirrors, if you do it just right, and you've got the light reflecting into that room and you're looking, you can see your reflection on both sides. And if you arrange it just right, the mirrors are just right, you can see several reflections of you looking back at several reflections of you. So let's just say we're looking at several reflections of ourselves that's looking at a reflection, that's looking at a reflection, that's looking at a reflection. So have you ever done that where you can just, it's like as far as your visible eye can see, you see little mini reflections of yourself, like going in this tunnel way back. But the thing about a hologram or holographic is all of those images are looking back at you at the same time. So there's this reflective aspect of your aura, of sacred geometry, this holographic effect that is reflecting in and reflecting out all aspects of who you are all at the same time. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for just a minute and percolate. So now imagine this is a sacred, geometric, holographic reality. So Spirit's telling me that you as an individual can deflect light and reflect light. So now imagine you're holding perfectly still. You're not moving a hair. Every single aspect of the hologram is going to also just hold very still. But now let's say that you move to scratch the top of your head. What's going to happen? Every aspect of that reflective mirror, every image of you is going to reach up and scratch their head. And it's going to go out into infinity. All right? It's going out into infinity. Millions of aspects of you are scratching your head. Okay, that's a holograph. So now let's flip it just a little bit more and see if we can keep your head still on your shoulders. Is you're sitting there perfectly still. And now one of those 1,000 reflection that's out in infinity reaches up and tickles, scratches its nose way out there. Then that's going to change the reflection coming back to you of that light. That movement is going to also cause you to need to scratch your nose. So all those reflections out there of you and all your reflections out there of them, but you're all reflections of yourself. Okay, those are holographic mirrors. And at some point, as your consciousness expands, as you awaken, which is what's happening right now, you forget where you begin and where you end, and who's actually the real person in the mirror. Who's the real person? How do you know that you out there, the 1,000 person out that just tickled your nose, how do you not know that that's not the real you? This is the holographic light. It can be trippy for the head. It's not trippy for the spirit, right? It's just trippy for the head, not trippy for the spirit. So this is where it can impact you. So let me go back to Wikipedia. A hologram is a photographic recording of a light field. Are you all with me? Put in a big yes or no in the comment section. Are you with me? Are you tracking me? Because I'm trying to, I thought, okay, this kind of makes sense. It's starting to make sense. So I hope that it makes sense to you all. A hologram is a photographic recording of a light field. So what this means is there's light moving out into all the reflections of you. And then when they move, the light reflects back to you. So there's this movement, like this ocean wave of light. Ocean wave of light. The light comes back in and it gets reflected and then it goes back out. So you are a holographic image of light. Have you heard of the butterfly effect? Oh, I wrote it down here somewhere. Okay. The butterfly effect is also a movie. Skip over that. Oh, so somebody's mentioning there's a really good book, Jane Roberts. So over Soul 7, Soul 7. So, all right. So the butterfly effect, there is a movie about this, but scientifically, there have been studies about this, or let's say theories. And the theory is that a butterfly can flap its wings in Brazil. Can a butterfly flap its wings in Brazil and cause a hurricane in Texas? So let's go back to that holographic um, image where 1,000 images out, you tickled your nose and it came back as all this movement to where you have to tickle your nose. So there's this movement, back and forth, this flow. And so when it gets back to me, does it cause a lot of disturbance in my physical field? That's a yes. And that's can cause ascension symptoms to come to the surface. There is a disturbance, it doesn't mean it's bad, in the outer field that moves like a butterfly wings, and it moves to your inner field. And for some of you, it may feel like butterfly kisses or dragonfly kisses, but for others of you, it can feel like a hurricane or or an earthquake. It can be that shift, that much of a shift, slight shift can cause a huge disturbance. And why? Because you've got a lot of energy blocks on the inside of you. And we all have energy blocks. We all have energy blocks. So yes, so this butterfly effect can really, is it a real thing? And Spirit was showing me the ocean. It's like, all right, the ocean waves comes into the shore. So here we've got that reflective light coming in, and then it hits, it encompasses you, and then it goes back out again, out into this big, big ocean. So there's this constant flow that's happening. So now I'm just going to drop this little penny here. This is why some of you who are so sensitive that you can feel every bomb that's dropped in Ukraine, or you can feel the people who don't have enough food in other countries, or you can feel like in Turkey when there was that huge earthquake. That's why some of you who are extra, extra sensitive can feel these things happening, because that aspect of you in your holographic multidimensional world feels that vibration of frequency. It shifts, and then it moves that shift towards you. So yeah, what can I say? It's a lot. Okay, so what is Spirit telling me here? Spirit's telling me that you as an individual can deflect the light away from yourself when you feel less than, when you feel unworthy, small, insignificant. You just might have enough light to fill an ocean. But if you only allow that little pinhole because you think you only deserve a pinhole of light, you cannot see or be conscious of just how far your holographic sensing abilities are. So, for example, let's go back to the mirror. You're in the bathroom. You've got this cool mirror where you can move the sides to get that really holographic effect. The light is off. Can you see your reflection? No. Can you see the light? No. The light's there, but you have a minimal capacity to see the light. So remember, a hologram is a photographic recording of a light field. But if the lights are out, so meaning you've got energy blocks, or maybe you've got fear, or maybe reluctance, or feeling unworthy, you cannot allow that multi-dimensional, beautiful holographic light be in the flow. You look in the mirror and the only thing you can see are only a flat side of yourself. And that's kind of what depression is. In depression, you feel flat. You feel like there's only two sides of you, and you're challenged to see the full reflection of your light and have the full reflection of your light come back to you. Okay. There is an aspect of hiding your light when you set your holographic mirrors to reflect away from you. And this is where I will often hear my students say to me, no one can see me. How many of you feel invisible when you're walking around? No one can see me. It's if I am invisible. No one can hear what I'm saying. It's if I'm not even here. So when those reflections of you in the mirror shift their position, the entire infinity holographic mirror reflects. Those must also shift. So what happens is you are the source of not being seen. So it's not somebody else's fault. It's like, wow, what am I here? Chopped liver? I'm here in this room. I have an opinion. Nobody seems to want to hear my opinion. But what Spirit is saying, it's because you are deflecting the light. You are keeping your light small. You're only showing a pinhole. So if you have a room full of people of light and they can't see you, they can't see your reflection. So we're going to do a little meditation about this. Okay, I already said all that. Okay, so last night, remember I said I wanted to look up to see if there was anything about holographic mirrors. So according to the American Scientist article, I loved this question. So they asked this question. If you could rerun your entire life right now, if you had the capability to rerun your life from beginning to end, would it turn out the same exact way? If you had the capacity. So what do you think? You think yes or you think no? If you could rerun your entire life, all the events, the good, the bad, the ugly, from beginning to end, would it turn out exactly the same way? What do you think? So I have a yes, I have a no. I don't think so. I love these things that challenge our mind to expand and think about consciousness in a different way. One of the Facebook users saying, well, there would be some parts I would want to cut out. So shifts, but the same players. Yes, I totally agree with that. And you're right, Jennifer. No, somebody's saying yes, somebody's saying no. What happens is, so let's say right now, your consciousness has been changed by the life that you've had. Your consciousness has already been changed by the life that you had. So if right now you could hit the rewind button, start from the beginning button, your consciousness is different. So the conscious choices that you would make would be different than they were the first time around. So if your consciousness changes the next step, then when you have a higher state of consciousness, your next steps are going to have a higher expanded state of being. So it's my opinion, but I don't know for a fact, but it's my opinion that, yeah, if we've changed our consciousness, our life will not end up the same. So anyway, fun things to think about. So how about we do a little meditation? It's right at 7:30. So we'll just do a couple of minutes of this, and then you can have an idea about how you want to work with it over the next few months. But I'm just going to say, you're not building a hologram. You're not becoming holographic. You're not becoming this field of light. You are already there. The hologram is already there. But remember, if you have a small little light in the bathroom so you can find it in the middle of the night, you can only see a few layers of your hologram. The more you shine your light, the more levels of the hologram of who you are gets expressed into the world. So if you just want to think about like the Dalai Lama, for example, probably his holographic reflection can go for miles, right? And then mine might go 10 feet. So, all right, Janet James, get off the page, please. So we'll need to go ahead and block you. All right. So while Janet James is being asked nicely to leave the page, everybody else go ahead and close your eyes and turn within. Say hello to your body. Say hello to your spirit. Whew, just saying hello changes things. Just saying hello. And how much energy does that take? To say hello to your body every day and say hello to your spirit every day. All right, so now you're going to pretend and you're going to imagine that you are a holographic light and an infinity holographic light that is a light field. And when I did this meditation a couple of days ago, I just imagined these little tiny mirrors that I can kind of see which way they're turned. I kind of played with it that way, but you play with it any way you want. So imagine that you're connected, but it can be all the way on the outer edges of your aura, front, back, top, bottom, side, side. Now imagine your soul's light, your higher wisdom light is coming all the way down into your inner core. And then imagine your light is radiating out. And if it's getting blocked on the inside of your aura, use some golden energy to clear off that reflective mirror that's maybe dingy and dirty with unworthiness. I'm a nobody. You don't believe in yourself. You don't have to know what it is, but just clean it off on the inside so that your inner spiritual light can start to reflect and shine a light to your outer world. So let's just do a little house clearing. Cleaning the inside of the mirrors. And they seem to be extra thick above your head and extra thick below your feet. So just keep rinsing with gold. Remind those that stuck blocked energy what today's date is. So whatever the date is that you are watching now or watching the replay. You can play with golden Windex and golden paper towels, golden feather duster. As it gets brighter, allow your inner light to expand out through those holographic mirrors. Going out further and further. You're going to stay in your core, but allow your light to reflect out. Nice. That's a good start. So hopefully through some of those reflective mirrors, you've got some light that's radiating out. Now, imagine the light that is from the cosmos, from the earth, the radiance of light that's available to you from the outside. Go ahead and now you're going to imagine looking at the outside of your aura and imagine these little reflective holographic mirrors on the outside. See if the light is being absorbed in or can come in, and then clean those mirrors off that may be cloudy, dingy, maybe cracked. You can actually take out a cracked mirror and replace it with a full mirror. And you want to clean that off so that your inner light can reflect out and the outer light can reflect in, and you've got this nice ocean wave of movement between all aspects of your sensitive soul self. Now imagine that you're this multidimensional soul light, spiritual light, and that you can sense your reflection going out 1,000 reflections, and see if you can sense at the distance if there's any blocked mirrors that are a little further away from you. So I'm just adding this bit for so that you can visit this later on. Just knowing there are simple ways that you can heal your energy field, which in turn heals you. All right. That's a good sampler start. So go ahead, thank your body, thank your spirit. Go ahead and open your eyes and stretch. You'll definitely want to make some notes. But what really tripped me out is when Spirit said to me, and then eventually you actually lose sight of who's who. Where are you actually in that holographic reflection? So just wrapping this up, somebody said, holy smokes, that was amazing. I would love to hear more from you about what your experience was with that. But just you are a light field. You are a hologram, a photographic recording of a light, ever-changing light field. Everyone is. You're all beautiful. You just might have some dirty mirrors that just need to be easily, and you just got to see how easy you can clean those off. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I will come back and read those because I've not even finished my first cup of coffee, so I will enjoy having something to read. Just a reminder, so for those who live locally in that area, Soul Seeds is sponsoring our free healing event for the community here in Tacoma, Washington. Okay, that's Friday. And then also we have St. Patty's Day tomorrow. So if you're into that, wear green. For those of you in the VIP bonus bundle for the Equinox, Saturday we will have our event from 10 to 11:30 Pacific time. You will be getting an email about that. Sunday is our group reading. You can still, even if you can't be there, you can purchase the recording. Today's the last day to do that. And then the 23rd next week is the big, actual date of the Pluto Capricorn Aquarius shift. So I'm so glad to be hanging out with you all. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, have a fantastic rest of your week. And we are remember, we're really, really blessed to be living in this time that we're living in. Take care, everyone.